Hi, my name is Edward Nelson, and today I'm going to be covering Chapter 12, which involves interpersonal communication. And today I would like to just focus on one technique from that chapter, the foot in the door technique. And the foot in the door technique involves a persuader or seller first asking for a small favor or just a small purchase or a small request, and after they have gained a yes for that or gain compliance with that initial offer, they will then move on to a much larger request, knowing that the person has already said yes once and they're already starting to feel comfortable with you, so it's a higher likelihood that they will then say yes to the much larger request as well. And today, the specific example from my life, I'm actually going to be focusing on a family member of mine, my uncle. And my uncle works at a company called Altec, and Altec sells bucket trucks to other companies, businesses, or even single party people. But anyway, so my uncle, he sells bucket trucks. And time again, I witnessed my uncle utilize this foot in the door technique of, a small request first, help yourself metaphorically and physically get your foot in the door in order to then gain their, trust or compliance, in order to then pitch the much larger pitch for buying a new bucket truck, for example. And how this one worked for my uncle was that he would, first just ask for maybe just a few minutes of their time. He would call certain businesses and see what they're doing, see if they're busy, and see if it was okay if, he could come by and just speak with them, maybe about some equipment that Altec offers, or maybe see if they maybe wanted a used truck to replace a current truck that was depreciating or no longer in service. And so we would go. I would usually accompany him, and I would just, observe what he would do. And he would always start off with the same thing, kind of looking around their facility or business, talking to the person, kind of feeling out what it was that they really needed. And, after he figured that out, and got past all the initial formalities and the initial back and forth, he would then move on to the bigger pitch, which would be, I see that maybe you have some trucks that haven't been in service in a while, or maybe they keep needing repairs, and instead you could buy a new bucket truck that we offer, which has state-of-the-art equipment and, has the potential to last 5 to 10 years, maybe even longer, and you'll make your money back in the first 3 to 4 years, So it's a very tempting offer after they had already got to know him and found out that, he's cool, he's very personable and he was polite and stuff. And after those things, this much larger request was, manageable or likely to happen because they're already comfortable with him. And it really worked. Like time and time again, they would end up buying the new bucket truck. They wouldn't just get a little bit of equipment from him. They would always end up buying that new bucket truck and spending lots of money on a big purchase. And I from observing that, I make the inference that I think it works so well because the foot in the door technique literally and metaphorically allowed him to get his foot in the door and get to know these people. It allowed him the chance to talk to them, see what kind of facility they run, what kind of business their company does, so he could have a better understanding of what their needs really were. And then he would always, spring on them the much larger proposition of, hey, a new bucket truck makes the most sense. You can make the most money and have the longest longevity of equipment. And it worked. It worked, and I think that's why. But anyway, in conclusion, I think that this technique can also be used in personal life, such as asking a friend to help you move a couch. And after they've helped, you could then move on to, hey, I need help with some more furniture. And usually it works. And I'm sure some of you have even tried it yourself. But moving on, I just think that myself and others as persuaders and human beings can learn a lot from this by, analyzing how people use this foot in the door technique to then gain compliance to a much larger request. And I think moving forward in life, it's a very effective skill to gain, and you can definitely utilize it in the long run.